I'm Zach Martin along with Zach Bair. You can see for yourself, ZachBairMusic.com. We've got plenty of questions for you today, Zach. But before we get started on Ordinary Girl, your new single and EP that's coming out, we were talking before we went on the air about how I got your video and how we're only kidding ourselves if we think that people who really want the stuff that we record or our music if we think they can't get it for nothing. So just give us a little bit of your take on that whole people being inventive and grabbing hold of music and video and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of those things.
Well, the world has changed so much. I've been involved in music technology since about 2001, and one of the first technologies that my company at the time, MediaTek, developed was called NetBurn Secure. And what that technology did was to allow a person to select, mix, and match tracks on the web, and then download that to a CD. Whereas that CD could not be copied, could not be ripped into other, formats and whatnot. So it was very interesting at that time to the labels. This was about 2002, I guess, and we had our first big client was JC Chazet from NSYNC. He released a single with our technology, and literally right after all this happened, Apple introduced iTunes. And the whole DRM world completely changed after that.
Yeah.
And it became it moved from Lars Ulrich in court, arguing against Napster, to eventually realizing that, look, people will still pay for music, especially if it's in a really good format and it adds value to their experience. So there's always going to be a certain amount of people, just downloading music and using it. But there's the revenue opportunity is absolutely still there, but it's changed.
Well, and vinyl is back. And even cassettes are making a comeback. And I think people want something a little bit more valuable. The CDs, I don't know about you, but I always thought to myself, wow, the CDs, what a ripoff. I don't get what I get in the album. But you sort of moved on. You're like, well, it's what it is. But now that vinyl's making a comeback, I've seen it. Maybe I might have been in Walmart, and I was surprised to find Dark Side of the Moon, Physical Graffiti,
That's cool.
Exile on Main Street, all those great albums, double albums especially. I like
Probably had all those
available on, yeah, yeah. And the quality of the vinyl is even better because if you grew up in the 70s, we had that oil shortage. So
Yep.
they couldn't use the petroleum to make top quality vinyl like they can now, 180 gram, whatever it might be. So yeah,
Yep.
what's old is new again. People are rediscovering older technologies because I think it really brings them much more joy. And let's not underestimate the value of a good book because here in New York, just last week, we were without power. What do you do without power, without internet? All
You
right.
read a book.
You read a book. And so
Absolutely.
now people are like, oh, wow, this is a great book. It's modern technology, these books. It doesn't require batteries. All you need is some natural light or candles if you have that.
I still have my New York Times delivered to me at least Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, and the Sunday,
Wow.
obviously. So I
That's
enjoy reading the actual paper itself.
That's really impressive because you're in Memphis, Tennessee, and for some reason you want that New York Times delivered right to your house. Now, Memphis, Tennessee is the home of blues and I guess, the birthplace of rock and roll.
That is.
Uh,
That is.
what is it like, huh?
Elvis Presley.
Yeah, Elvis Presley, of course. Did you grow up in Memphis?
No, I did not. I actually grew up in Arkansas and East Texas,
Uh-huh.
and have spent probably the last 15 years, maybe 20 years, bouncing back and forth between Dallas and Los Angeles and New York for the music business.
Right. Now, a person who's from New York, we just think that Memphis is right next to Dallas anyway. So it's just
Basically, it's pretty close.
and since we're talking about Texas, I have to rub it in, Zach Bair. I have Dr. Pepper, lots of Diet Dr. Pepper. I understand there's a Diet Dr. Pepper shortage in Texas. This is 23 refreshing flavors. Hold on one second.
Thanks for killing me with that, man.
Oh, it's so good. I have extra cases and I'm willing to sell them at exorbitant prices because that's America, man.
That's just the pandemic. That's what it is.
That's what it is. I mean, how about that one guy? He had his whole garage full of the hand sanitizer and masks and all of that stuff. And the government went in and took all the stuff and didn't give him any money. I'm thinking to myself, as much as he was a jerk, he was making the most of the situation, so you can't really blame him. I'm thinking like, that's not American.
At its best.
We're supposed to be like that. That's how we're wired, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, for anybody that's listening, give us your curriculum vitae, some of the acts that you've worked with over the years. Then we'll talk about Ordinary Girl, and we'll play the video, by the way.
Absolutely, sure. Oh, thank you. Well, I've been doing this quote unquote instant live recording for about 17 years with a company called Disc Live. That's DISCLIVE. It's gone through a few permutations. It turned into Abbey Road Live for a few years while we were aligned with EMI and Capitol Records, and then spun back out of that whenever the company EMI was purchased by Universal. So over that time period, I've gotten to work with some amazing artists. Peter Frampton's probably one of my favorite artists that I got to work with. We did 110 shows with him over the course of about 2 years, and done Blondie and Devo and Bad Company, REO Speedwagon, Paul Rogers solo, just tons of artists. Our first breakout tour was with the Pixies in 2004 on their comeback, quote unquote, club tour or whatever, where we were literally selling 1,000 CDs a night that you could actually take home with you, when you left the show. Most recently, I've worked the last 2 or 3 years with Rob Thomas, and we were supposed to go out with Matchbox 20 this summer, but obviously that's now been put off till next summer.
Right.
Yeah. So just I've been very, very blessed over these 17 years to work with some amazing artists and just people in the music business.
You mentioned a couple of people that are good friends of mine. Paul Rogers, great guy.
Wonderful.
Peter Frampton and I used to get along very well. And I think that at one time I have a tendency to be sarcastic, and I was giving it to him really good. And I think he took it a little too seriously.
No.
Yeah. So if you can tell him that Zach Martin apologizes and asks for forgiveness, because he sent me an email and he got me to do one of those online petitions. It was moveon.org or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, once that happens, you get incessant emails from moveon.org or whatever they are. I don't know the name. It's one of those, whatever it is, right?
Exactly.
So he calls up, he's doing an interview with some sports guys at a radio station that I'm involved with. And hey, Peter, I just want to thank you so much for getting me on that email list from that moveon.org. They won't leave me alone. I go, what's wrong with you? And I was really joking. It really doesn't matter because I could set the filters and just get rid of them. But I was just looking for a way to give him the business, because, and then here might be something else that he might be a little bit upset. He had a solo album out.
Do I want to hear this? I'm kidding.
Wait, this is great. And so the picture was just chair in the middle of a room. And I said, well, I really feel bad for you that all you have is that one piece of furniture left after Frampton Comes Alive. You would think he'd make so much money off of that. You'd have more than one piece of furniture. It is just my sense of humor. And when I really like somebody, I will zing them, because that means I love you. That's all it is. So if you could tell Peter Frampton that Zach Martin says he really is sorry,
I will do that.
would wish that you would talk to him again, maybe exchange some emails, and we could do some interviews like this and reestablish that relationship. So blessed are the peacemakers, right?
No, he's a good guy, man. Yeah.
That's
just got a pretty good sense of humor. I'm surprised. Yeah.
Well, I'm a New Yorker. You know how we can be.
Good point. Good point.
Little over the top sometimes. Moving on to Ordinary Girl, which I promise we will play the video. It's a terrific video. It's what they call a lyric video.
It is.
But you've got some very interesting subjects in this video. So how did you recruit all of these beautiful ladies, and what's the background of the song?
All right, so great. So the ladies in the video, that was actually really easy because it was just stock footage that my graphic artist put together and created the lyric video with royalty kind of free stuff. But it was put together because the subject of the song, I wrote the song a long time ago, and really didn't do anything with it, obviously, until this EP. Um, but the song is about a young lady who is considering killing herself, and had some mental health issues, and it took a group of people surrounding her and really getting her back in the right place. And I don't want to say intervention because that's really not the right word, but um, it took some effort in order to get her to realize that she was worthy of staying in this world and is an extraordinary person, not just an ordinary girl. And that's really kind of what the song is about. And I think a lot of people can probably relate to that. And part of the song and part of the reason it's out there is I've had people close to me in the last couple of years that have taken their own lives, and it's a thing where you really want to encourage people to reach out if they are having struggles, but more importantly, the people not having struggles should be a little bit more aware of the people that they care about in the event that they can offer them support and hopefully keep them from doing something that they can't ever take back. And that's what the song's about.
Well, I'm going to put up the number for the suicide prevention hotline, which is 800-273-8255. You bring up a very good point. The owner of the Giants, his daughter took her life just the other day, left a hole in the heart of Mr. Tisch. And, I've known people that have had relatives or loved ones that have committed suicide, and it's easy to be judgmental. We got to be careful about that, because what makes the difference between someone who does and someone who doesn't is a bad decision that someone makes in a very bad day.
Yep.
And it could be any of us. So that we got to stop the stigma of getting help for what we call mental illness. If you're feeling
Yep.
depressed, if you just don't feel right, talk to somebody. Um, you know, it doesn't have to be a psychologist. You don't have to always go to the doctor. You could start off by just talking to a friend who has empathy, that's somebody you can trust.
Exactly.
Talk to your pastor, talk to your priest, talk to your rabbi, talk to somebody that you can open up and discuss these feelings. It is very normal for anybody listening
Yeah, yeah,
to have these thoughts. Okay.
exactly. And there's nothing, there is no stigma around mental health. It's just like any other health issue, from a broken leg to, you know, having asthma. I mean, it's just a condition that can be treated, and can be treated, with exactly what you said. Surround yourself with people, from your rabbi to your priest or whoever, as well as the medications that are available in
Yeah.
today's environment. So
And,
there's available.
and the other thing is, I think all of us can do a better job at loving one another and understanding what real love is all about. So I'm glad you brought this up. It gives us the opportunity to talk about something that's really important. Suicide prevention hotline, again, if you're listening, we're with Zach Bair, 800-273-8255. On top of that, while we're talking about mental health and being judgmental, all of those different things, which we're all capable of being, please try to not make fun of people so much or give them a hard time. It's easy to pick on the fat guy who's trying to lose weight, right? You see him out there running or her out there running, give them a thumbs up, a little encouragement. Don't say nasty things to people. There's no sense in that. Also, another thing, that if you are a healthcare professional, police officer, fireman, EMT, whatever work you do, just a regular person that works at a grocery store, which you are exceptional, by the way, um, try to remember that there are people with disabilities that you can't see, like autism, or they might be mute, or they might be deaf, or they might have cystic fibrosis and they have to park in the handicap section. So let's just, while we're reflecting and here under house arrest, as I call it, let's reflect on how we treat other people, because bullying is really a problem on so many levels, and we don't need to be adding fuel to the fire. So
Absolutely.
I'm glad you brought that up. Really important stuff. Again, the number is 800-273-8255. Get some help. You can always Google the suicide prevention, and you'll find various resources. So thank you for bringing that up, Zach. It's really, really
Absolutely.
brave. Um, besides your experiences many years ago, was there anything else that you want to add to the story of the song before we play it?
Well, I think again, you know, in the last probably 3 to 4 years or so, I've known a few people, some of them relatively close to me, that um, have taken their lives, and it just really, you know, that song sat on the burner for quite some time, and until I guess I got to the point where the pandemic hit, you know, and you don't really know if if you're even going to be around the next day, and you know, you keep hearing about these problems with domestic violence increasing because people are cooped up together and things like that. And I just felt it was time to get the song out there. And I enlisted Skid Mills, who has worked with some great bands, Saving Abel and 12 Stones, Pop Evil, Three Doors Down, among some of them, to help me produce the EP and the song. And the result is what you now hear is Ordinary Girl. And I'm really proud of that song. And I hope that it touches people, and the people who listen to it actually might think that they should rethink their decision if they're contemplating suicide.
Alone again, wondering when
All right, you got to love that technology, huh? That was kind of cool. What
Thank
was
you.
it like for you to watch the video? What was going through your mind?
Whenever I see that video, it just reminds me that um, everybody goes through all these problems, and you just got to keep forging ahead, and life really is beautiful, and you want to live every moment as much as you can, and appreciate that, and appreciate the beauty that everybody is, and just like you were saying earlier, don't make fun of people. Appreciate that they're a living, breathing human being with thoughts and emotions, and sometimes would need your support.
I agree. It's all about, once again, I think most of us have distorted love over the years
Yeah.
because the images that we get and the meaning behind it, and for us boys when we're growing up in school, be a man and all of those things that you're told, and you know, uh, you're encouraged to do things that are really not wholesome,
No,
right? As you're growing up, I'm trying to be like very careful how I describe it because I don't want to give anybody listening some bad ideas. And times are really different. Maybe we're all a little bit ignorant growing up, but I think that now that we have a little bit more wisdom, yeah, in many ways we're turning into some of our parents, right?
yeah, I know.
You never you never paid attention to them. You thought they were nuts, but they had
A
that
little bit older.
wisdom.
Whoa, wait a
So
minute.
yeah, right. And now it's our turn to
Yeah,
share that wisdom and teach people to be a little bit more maybe practical. Also too. Um, I feel bad for the MTV generation because they were told what to think basically every time that they saw a video. There was none of this idea of using your own imagination. And there's good and bad to that. But what I'm getting to now is if you remember that show, The Real World,
of course.
right? Everybody was really good looking. Everybody had a really good time.
And
They
it's not.
lived in a really nice, yeah, they lived in a really nice place. But you know what? Nobody had a real job.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Not the
And
real.
then and then, when we're growing up, we get told that got to go to college, you got to get, your master's degree, and become an astronaut, become a doctor, become a lawyer. You see it in the language we use. Oh, he was from a good family. His mom was a doctor and his dad was a lawyer. That doesn't make you a good person because of what you do. It's who you are on the inside. And you
Exactly
know
right.
something, if you're a great custodian, great like janitor, I mean, that's a great thing. We found out the most important people during the pandemic were the ones stocking those grocery shelves. We
Absolutely.
need them more than anybody. So don't ever, if you're listening, think that you have no value because you really do. And the things that you do are very important. And the things that you do, you have to pay attention to your job. Make sure you do the best possible job each and every time. If you do that, good results will happen for you, me, whomever. Some of us are like Zach Bair, are talented, can play songs and write songs and play the guitar. It doesn't mean Zach is better than you or me. And some
Yeah,
of us are, have my skill sets. Not everybody. It's okay. Just learn to be happy in your own skin. I think that's the
we all do something
message.
different, and we all contribute in some way.
Right. And nobody's really ordinary. Everybody's extraordinary.
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to give the suicide prevention hotline number another announcement here in case you're listening and not watching. 800-273-8255. If you're thinking of taking your own life, really talk to somebody right away. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you or that you're defective. These are the thoughts that most of us have. And I'll repeat what I said before. Any one of us, that can happen to any of us. It's just a series of bad things and a bad day and a bad decision.
Absolutely right.
Um, what are some of your plans coming down the road? You have the single, you're going to have the EP. I think it's going to be released real soon, in the next couple of weeks.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So the music video, the official music video, comes out on the 21st on Vivo. So we're
Okay.
excited about that. And the EP drops on September 1st. We're really excited about that. So we're going to be obviously working Ordinary Girl to radio for the next 3 or 4 months or whatever. hopefully we'll get some action with it. And after that, we'll go from there.
I,
We've
I
got
think I think you'll get a lot of radio airplay if you give them the message about suicide prevention along with it, and maybe work with the suicide prevention people to get behind this project. I think that that would be the way to go.
mhm,
Giving you some advice on this, and make sure that everybody gets this number. This number that's up on the screen has to be plastered everywhere, especially while
absolutely.
people are really struggling through this COVID-19 situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's actually we're considering donating a portion of sales proceeds from the single to the suicide hotline. And my publicist, I think, is working through those channels to figure out how to do that right now. So that's
Well,
something we actually thought about, and it's obviously an issue I feel strongly about, and would gladly do that.
okay, well, I'll do my part. I have some contacts in New York City with the suicide prevention people. I'll reach out to them. I know various foundations that were created in honor of people who have committed suicide. There are people near and dear to me who lost loved ones, policemen, stuff like that. So, I definitely have connections to that community. I'll make sure that we
Very cool.
make the introduction, and we'll do what we can by playing your song and just getting the message out there to, go get help. And there's nothing wrong with going to get help, right? No such thing as a stupid question, and nothing bad about going to get the help. There's no stigma here.
Well, and even what's the most shocking part is sometimes you really don't even know there's anything wrong, and all of a sudden they're gone. I mean, Chris Cornell. I mean, come on. I mean that floored me when that happened, and then of course, with Lincoln Park. I mean, you just don't. You never know.
Yeah, no, you don't. You
You might
don't.
think they're happy, and the next thing you know, they're gone.
Yeah, that's something to think about. Life is precious, man. We got to do what we can to live the best life possible, and just again, we'll wrap it up by saying, love thy neighbor. You can follow Zach Baird. Sorry, Zach Baird. ZachBairMusic.com. And you're on. Why don't you give us the social media contact information right now before we wrap it up?
Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and it's all Zach Bair Official. ZachBair Official, and then ZachBairMusic.com. So we're all over
Right,
the place.
and it's Zach with an H, not a K.
It is correct.
We always have to say that.
You with the H? You're also with the H?
I'm with an H too. Zachary Taylor Martin.
Awesome.
I'm descended from the president. That's why
That's really cool.
I was thinking about running for president, especially with this mail-in thing. I have a good shot now. Now everybody could fill out Zachary Taylor Martin, right? I mean, come on. I might actually win this thing. So thank you. Thank you so much. Again, it's a great song. Really enjoyed listening to it. Really loved the video. Just stick to it. I think it's going to be, I predict, a top 10 hit at least on the Billboard Hot 100.
Thank you, sir, so much. I appreciate it.
God bless, man.
You as well. Take care.